you with the head coaches on the hot seat and Ron Rivera. And then I kept asking you, why is Eric Bieniemy not getting these solid looks as a head coach? Maybe he's not interviewing well. And then you have Shady McCoy come out and say some of the things that he says. Then all of a sudden, some of the starters for Washington, the notable guys, are complaining that Bieniemy's too hard on them. So they've already mentioned it to Rivera, who kind of had a backpedal and called into question, to kind of paraphrase, in so many words, Coach Bieniemy, maybe he's got to soften up a little bit. And I'm bringing this up because I don't know what we're going to make of Washington this year. I don't know how good they're going to be, how bad they're going to be. I know they were competitive last year. They were right there in that home game against the Giants. The Giants got the win with the Thibodeau sack, fumble, and touchdown, and that kind of changed the complexion for the Giants. And Washington still finished competitive record. But as a player, when you have an offensive coordinator, when you have a coordinator come in with that type of feistiness, and he's now out of the shadow of Andy Reid, I think there's going to be a substantial amount of pressure on Eric Bieniemy to separate himself this year with the play calling and the success or failures of Washington. But also, and this is me, and you tell me, you played for over a decade, you know how it works. I also believe he's gunning for Ron Rivera's job. And he's not going to, I believe he's sitting there saying in the back of his mind, man, truth serum, this is the place I need to be. Let me get this kid Hal going. Let's this offense spark. All of a sudden, I look good. If we're losing games, Rivera's going to be out, and then I'm the natural fit. I slide right in as head coach, and I finally have my head coaching job that I desire.
I definitely see that, and that's probably a decision when making this decision to go to Washington. That's probably was a big part of it. As far as the kids, I keep saying that. As far as the players complaining about he's too hard, players got to get over it.
Yeah,
man, these coaches' jobs on the line. Their jobs on the line. There's nobody got time to come in and rub you on your head and pat you on your back and take your hand and take you where you need to be. Nobody has time for that. So a lot of these guys now couldn't even play for Coach Coughlin. If they did think the enemy's too tough, there's no way. I want you to think about this. He's been to Super Bowls. He's won Super Bowls. He's been around great coaching staffs. He's been around. He's seen it done. He was a part of the decision making for the Chiefs. He saw what it takes to get there. So he's bringing that same winner's mentality to Washington, and they're not ready for it because they've been in a situation where they've been losing, practically their whole careers in the NFL. Yeah. Some of these players.
Yeah.
If you got drafted by the Washington, the Commanders 4 years ago, you're a loser. If you think about it, like you're a loser, like you haven't won or had any real success. So now you got a guy coming in here that's been a part of real success, and he knows what it takes. He's not gonna hold your hand and take you through it. You guys got to get on or lay down. I'm sorry, that's the way it's supposed to go.
It's a really astute point. It's a fair point. It's like, okay, here we go. I've been eating tuna for the last 6 years. Now I'm going to try to force feed someone some steak, right? I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from. But that's why I also believe, part of me thinks Rivera now gets another pass because it's new ownership. Ron Rivera, by all accounts, is a really nice guy. But he had success with Carolina. He's done diddly with Washington. So now you've got an OC who has a chip on his shoulder, who's been eyeing up a head coaching opportunity. If this team jumps out 5-2, Rivera's safe. If they jump out 2-5, but they're scoring 28 points and the offense looks like it's lights out, and this kid Hal looks like he's a Pro Bowl, all-pro type of young quarterback, all that does is make whose stock rise? Bieniemy's stock rise. So now ownership says, well, wait a second. We got the OC in place. Rivera's not winning games. Here you go. I mean, I look at it, again, I don't, you played under one coach, right? And then the 1 year with San Fran, but under one coach your entire career. So it's tough to say, was there an offense? Gilbride was content in his position. He wasn't gunning. I know in 2007, they wanted everyone out, right?
Everybody needed to go.